No stars yet, then.
Well, haven't really had time to have clever thoughts, have we?
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, you hear that too?
I don't think it's coming from that way.
No.
Oh?
Yeah.
They're giving birth.
Yeah.
So, thing one,
Thing one.
thing two,
Thing two.
thing three, or thing zero? I like thing zero because it has a kind of fatality to it.
Fatality.
Well, okay.
Aloha, thing zero.
Can you stop breathing now?
Maybe moment.
Hello, good evening, and welcome back to episode 95.
Good God, we're getting ancient.
Yes, we're still within the realms of natural lifespan. Just.
Barely, yeah.
And we are going to be looking at Act 1 of our new vision of Gladiator, which we have called Slayer the Movie.
The movie. It's important to note to the subtitle, the movie.
Before we get on to that, I was going to do a very quick shout out. This one is for That Blue Moon.
Don't know that one.
Yes, yeah, it's a friend of ours, friends that I made on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
She does a lot of gaming content, and also a lot of other random stuff that she finds on the internet.
Oh, excellent.
Including, how can I best put this? It's because of her that I discovered about Alien Lover.
Oh, yeah. That was an experience. I do know that one though.
Yes.
I do know that one. I have been there. Yes.
Yeah. So just wanted to say thanks for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure somebody might have had something to say about it.
If they did, I didn't hear.
Mimi. Mimi. Did I go slightly beaker there?
You did just go quite a bit beaker then.
Anyway, right, we're going to get into this now.
Right, there's something we do need to briefly have a chat about.
Okay.
After extra viewings, we originally said that Act 2 ends when Cicero is betrayed.
Yes, yes.
I realised that that's about 2 hours and 10 minutes into the movie, and the movie's only 2:34 with credits.
You're right. You are right.
So I think we do need to move it back.
Okay, I can think of two off the top of my head that might work.
Mm-hmm.
Although at the same time they might, again, still be too soon. One of them would be Cicero's reappearance in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one would be when he goes and sees Lucilla and says Maximus has changed his mind, he will meet with Gracchus.
I was thinking about when Cicero reappears, because it's Cicero's actions that precipitate everything that happens in the third act. Perfect. So it's his return that changes things.
Yep, that sounds good.
Cool. That gives us a good few extra scenes.
There is another thing that we need to consider as well, but again, as part of the setup for this, which only occurred to me about halfway through we were watching the film the other day. And that's a little bit of a question around Hawke.
Yeah.
If we're trying to keep the character as close to as he was in Hawke the Slayer, he's not a slave. He is of noble birth.
He is of noble birth, yes.
Are we just saying then that it's his altruism that takes him into the army? Is that... we can solve it as simply as that.
We're given to understand that Maximus grew up in Marcus's court, in the Emperor's court. So, I mean, we could play into his backstory in Orc the Slayer, that he's the son of a Briton chief who's been taken hostage, and that's why he's in the Roman court.
Okay.
He's a political hostage, and that's how he's ended up being the army. Because, I mean, that's happened many times throughout history. I mean, that's how Vlad Tepes got started.
Exactly, yes. Oddly, that was the first place where I went to. Both him and Radu, weren't they? They were raised, essentially, by the Turk.
That would explain why he's in the Roman court and he knows Marcus and has that level of access.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. If we wanted to save ourselves a headache further down the line, rather than have him having to go back to Britain, we can just say, if we want to keep it the same as his wife is going to be Spanish, that whilst he was on campaign, that's where he met his wife, so he's settled in Spain.
Because movie, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that works.
Fantastic.
I mean, I was thinking of ways of jinking a sea voyage into it. I mean, because you would have had merchants travelling and stuff, and I thought he might have finagled his way onto a merchant ship, but...
That's what I put in here as well, is that, or rather the slavers find him wherever he is. I thought, I'd even written down that we could say that... Sorry, I completely cut you off there. I do
No, it's okay. It's all right. It's all good. Because all I was going to say is, I kind of like your idea better because it simplifies things.
Cool.
It is much more convenient to the story because Spain is just north of North Africa.
Yes.
It's a reasonable journey. Because when they take him to North Africa, don't they?
Yes, I looked it up actually. The place itself, which apparently was in Mauritania Caesarensis.
Oh, right, okay.
I did some research.
Okay.
Which today is in a place called Miliana in Algeria.
Well, there you go then. So, it's an easier journey to explain than having to travel all the way from Britain to North Africa. That's one heck of a journey.
Exactly. What else do we have? Well, that solves a lot of those problems. Oh, yes! Something else I thought. Just to keep... that element of Hawk in there from the original film, there was, at the time, I did look it up, there were, in the 2nd century, Celtic longswords that were longer than a gladius.
Ah!
So he could use one of those.
Of course. Yes, that would explain why he stands out so well. I don't know if you disagree with me or not, but I get the impression that Hawk is not a cavalryman. I think he's an infantryman.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I know he rides a horse, but he didn't seem to show great prowess with it. He always...
No, every time he goes into battle, he always dismounts.
Yeah. So I think that he should lead the infantry rather than leading the cavalry when it comes to the fight in Germania. Fair
enough. Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's be fair, he'll end up in the fray either way.
Exactly.
Maximus didn't he? So this is interesting, because again, we'll have to wait and see. We really will. But I've got a feeling a large part of this is going to run on rails once we get these opening bits done.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a few things. The problem with Hawk, Maximus plays things close to his chest, but he's also quite emotional at the same time, whereas Hawk is pretty much stoic the whole time.
He is very stoic, yes.
There's not a lot to work with there.
In terms of emotional depth, we're going to be losing some of it, aren't we?
Yeah, it's there in the film. It's just not there in the performance. That's the real thing, unfortunately.
Yes, it is played very, very deadpan.
Yeah. Although at the same time, I think I kind of did him a bit of a disservice when last time when I did say that Hawk comes across as an adequate swordsman. But he has got some skills.
He does, and also, I mean, you are overlooking the limitations of the time and place in which this was filmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, I mean, not only is the film limited by the skill of John Terry, for example, but every extra that he has to fight against, he has to match their level of skill.
True.
And if they're not very good with the sword, everything slows down, everything gets very clumsy.
Exactly. But no, that does work. What we were saying there about arranging how he comes to be in Marcus Aurelius's service.
Yeah.
Because I had written down, oh shit, if he's of noble birth, would he support a democracy if he's of the ruling class? But no, this makes sense.
Yes, of course it does, yeah. I mean, I think for me, I think my last big point is, can we agree that Hawk is not the tactician that Maximus is, but he is clever enough to surround himself with capable people who are able to do their jobs well.
That makes sense.
Because
that's analogous to his little coterie of people that he knows can get the job done.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that works. I was going to say, just again, to try and make things a bit easier for us, maybe a shift in focus, it's very clearly drummed home that Maximus is doing his duty for Rome.
Yes.
And as soon as it's done, he wants to leave and go home.
Yes, absolutely.
Hawke is... He's doing all of this for the people. He's not doing this for any kind of financial gain himself.
You think, unlike Maximus, he would be committed to the notion?
I think he believes in the notion or the idea of Rome.
Yeah.
And
I mean, obviously that's something that Maximus wants, but it was always secondary to his desire to get home and get for his freedom. So it's kind of the other way around. It's kind of reversed, where Hawke is going to be more for the people than he is for the going home part of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
So as we say, the beginning bit will be the same with just some slight changes. He won't be part of the cavalry. He'll be leading the
infantry and
this will be a bit of a weird one for him because Hawke the Slayer is almost bloodless. The combat in it.
It is almost, yeah. They just did not have the budget for the blood.
No.
At the time that the film was made, British film industry was very anti-blood. It's the same era that gave us the infamous pink blood of the Amicus films.
Yes, of course. Yes. Damn you, Mary Whitehouse!
Yeah, God damn you, woman. Burn in hell. Burn in hell.
Yes, so that covers most of my bits for that. But yeah, you're right. Most of the first act will run on rails.
It really is, because so much happens. So much of the whole story happens without agency on Maximus's part, and therefore, in this particular sense, on Hawke's part. I'm trying to think of what major differences we're going to see. I mean, obviously, the first few scenes, the battle, it's all going to play out very similarly. You know, Marcus and Lucilla and Commodus arriving and making their feelings known, and then that final conversation with Marcus Aurelius.
Yes.
That would go a bit different, because obviously he'd be much more keen to see out Marcus's vision.
Yes, I did think that he would be quicker to accept.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there's no... I mean, the only thing that really changes is when Marcus... has his meeting with Commodus. He's kind of bluffing because he's saying it will pass to him, even though he hasn't actually responded yet. In this case, he could say it will definitely. He could even have the papers drawn up there in front of him.
Yes.
If we want to throw that in.
Yeah.
Which will mysteriously disappear, obviously.
Yes. Yes, because that allows us to put a very early appeal to Hawke's sense of justice, with him noticing that things have been... I mean, you're already going to know that things are wrong, but... things like the paperwork missing and stuff like that just makes it just that much more obvious.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, if you really wanted to labour the point, you could have like a brazier, just the embers of something dying when he comes in.
Yeah.
So he's literally just burnt it.
Oh, yeah, nice, yeah. Do you think Hawke would be polite to Commodus when he asks him to kiss the ring, or do you think he would be like, nah, fuck off, I know what you're up to? Because Hawke is a different person. Do you think his sense of justice would demand that he speak, or do you think he would do what Maximus did and try and get away from the situation so he can do something about it?
I don't think he would kiss the ring, but
No.
I think his attitude, he would be politer, I think, than Maximus, because we're saying that he's been brought up and he's embraced that station in life.
Oh, right, yeah.
So
His political edge might be a little harder than Maximus's. Okay, yeah, all right, so that scene passes without incident, but nevertheless, Commodus will be scheming to get rid of him anyway.
Straight away, yeah.
Because he knows, because Marcus told him his plan, so he knows that he knows.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
We're still happy then that Gaius is still going to betray him.
Yes, it's necessary.
Is it Gaius? It's not Gaius, is it? Gaius is one of the...
No, Gaius is the senator, the dodgy senator.
Yeah, it's not Gaius,
Gracchus?
No, Gracchus is...
No, oh god. all these Roman names, they all sort of... Yeah.
I can see the...
But I know the one you mean, yes.
I can see his face, but I can't think of his name.
He was his... Quintus, that's it, yes. Quintus, the one who was his second in command.
Yes.
That's a political act. Quintus's betrayal is a political act. He's choosing Commodus' side.
Yeah.
And again, it's not just a betrayal of Hawke, but it's a choosing of sides.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, it's a political choice that he would make in that moment.
But it's also the first point, I think, as well, where unlike Maximus, he doesn't trust a lot of people, I get the impression with Hawk, up until this point in his life, he's had a lot of people around him that he thinks he can trust.
Yes.
So it's going to be almost like a domino effect. So we'll have to see do we still have the same Hawk by the time we get to Act 3?
Oh, I see what you mean. All right, okay, yes, that would be interesting to see, yeah.
Which is the first step here, is Quintus's betrayal of him.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We're going to allow then that his execution goes the same way?
Yes. Yes.
An idea?
Okay.
Just to make it a little different?
Uh-huh.
We can have him saved by his dog. If we keep the dog that Maximus has at the beginning of the film, that follows him into battle,
uh-huh,
the dog follows him and saves him. Or at least... There was always something I always thought about Hawk the Slayer, that for some reason I always used to equate it to stuff like Beastmaster.
Oh, right, yes, I know what you mean. It's because they come from that same era of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I like it because it's another layering of the qualities of loyalty and injustice and how they play against each other.
Oh, nice.
You know,
yes.
Him being a loyal dog,
mm-hmm.
you know, and defending his master.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it. Actually, I do like it. It's nice. It's layered like an onion. I like it. Then we have a wounded and increasingly sick Hawk trying to get back to his family.
Mm-hmm. Do we, I suppose, again, a small point, do we say that because the dog never appears in the rest of the film?
Yes.
So that the dog...
Yes, I'm afraid so. It's a fine Hollywood tradition, let's be honest here.
Sorry, I feel like I want to say, we're really sorry, good Andy.
All good dogs go to heaven.
They do.
Directly to heaven. Yes, we need to lose the dog, because he'll get lost anyway, you know, one way or another. So better to give the emotional moment than to waste it and have him disappear into the background. Like
they do in the film, yeah. He just seems to vanish, doesn't he? Although I think it was a bitch.
Really?
The dog that they used.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. The Praetorians arrive.
Yes, that will go the same, and...
Home. Yeah.
Which is kind of the end of the act, as we said.
Kind of, yeah. As he is found passed out over the graves of his family. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Act 1, on rails, baby. On rails.
That's the thing, I mean, that is the thing. Even when we get to Act 2, I know there's more that happens, but there's huge sections of it that we can go, yeah, that just happens.
Yep.
Because he's not there.
Really didn't appreciate until this last watching how little agency Maximus has in that story.
Yeah.
How very little agency he has. And as soon as he does try to make his agency known, it's the instant he's betrayed.
Exactly. Yeah, he literally just jumps from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we are done. I don't know where to look now. We'll go with this one.
Yeah.
It's closer. Yes, we are done then for today. We've got Act 1 out of the way. Phew. Yeah. We will be back on Friday with Act 2 of Slayer, the movie.
The mover.
Like that. Have a great couple of days, and we will see you then. Take care.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.